Hello and welcome to another game of Starcraft 2. I am your host for today, Squall, and I am delighted to bring this to you, this epic struggle of will, this contest of fingers and APM. It shall be good. So, in this game we once again do have vVvWaKai. I featured him in the last game. He is in the Masters League. He is part of the Aspire training program / team on vVv Gaming. And his opponent for this match is going to be Crusader, who sounds like... that's the sort of name that, like, a pro has, man. I expect this guy is, like, probably top 8 Grandmasters, and vVvWaKai is going up against him. So that, of course, makes vVvWaKai absolutely amazing for being able to play someone of Crusader's caliber, obviously. Once again, if you are on the vVv YouTube channel, please do consider checking out my channel at youtube.com/Squallcasting. I would love to see you there. I have a lot more StarCraft content there, just featuring, other pro players such as Huck, Hyun, MC, Bomber, Teja, just lots of great StarCraft 2 players. I've got a ton of videos there. I think I might be reaching close to 150, something like that. Yeah. So, and you might be like, 150, Husky has like, what, 2,000 or something? I started like 4 months ago, okay? Give me a break. And I took an entire month off because I was, I moved, yes. Yeah, I've got a lot of videos, and I'm going to be casting more and more as time permits, and as I get more and more replays from awesome people. So, of course, this is a TVT. Crusader has gotten his gas rather early. That seems indicative to me of some sort of Banshee play, or at the very least, very aggressive teching. We'll have to see where he goes from this. vVvWaKai is, of course, going to get in here and scout it. We'll probably click on the refinery and go, that was up awfully early. And might have an inkling that this is indeed coming. Building a first supply depot kind of in a weird spot. Maybe he wants to avoid being proxied. I bet you in the game before this one, he was proxied by a Terran player who put a barracks like here and then killed him with Marauders, or something horrible like that. I'm sure it's happened. So, vVvWaKai, for his part, going for a 1-max gasless FE, pretty typical. Very economical sort of opening. And even putting down his barracks right next to his mineral line, so that way the minerals can, get back there that way the SCVs can get back to the minerals and start mining again sooner. Crusader, doing kind of a similar arrangement of buildings, actually. Just has a single supply depot here. This is to wall off the inevitable Reaper rush, because the Reapers would come in here. They'd want to squeeze through this crack, but then they won't be able to. Actually, that would be a horrible place to send Reapers. If you send a Reaper right into, like, here, which I've seen some people do, because they're like, whoa, I'm so cool, I'm, like, dancing through your mineral line and killing all of your SCVs. And then the SCVs just, like, insta-surround the Reaper and kill it. It's always a little bit hilarious. So if you're, like, wanting to do Reaper harass, don't go through the mineral line. Go behind it. It's really a much better idea. Even if going through the mineral line feels way cooler. So, yeah, definitely going to be a Banshee opener out of Crusader here. Getting a tech lab onto the factory and then a starport. Will finish basically right as the tech lab finishes. That's actually timed out really nicely. These will finish within like half a second of each other. So, does he, no, he doesn't have the gas to do, Okay, yeah, he will have the gas to start a Banshee. Oh, right now, okay. For some reason my brain was like, Banshees are totally 150 gas. No, they're 100 gas. This should indicate to you how often I build Banshees. Which is to say, not frequently at all. They do take 150 minerals. Yes, that is correct. But, yeah, I don't do Banshee play much, which is weird. I would think that I would like and be good with Banshees because I love Mutaplay. Mutaplay is like my most favorite ever, but every time I try using Banshees, I just fail. So Crusader is taking another gas now, and yeah, this is actually pretty well executed. He will have enough gas for another Banshee now. And then as this Vespene Geyser itself gets ramped up, that will ensure he has enough gas for continued Banshee production if he so desires. But it looks like he's not started on that quite yet. Instead choosing to get a tank. And okay, just doing a single Banshee maybe wants to see if vVvWaKai will freak out a little bit, throw down like 50 turrets in, you know, a ring that is 2 turrets thick, 3 turrets thick around his base. But vVvWaKai isn't going to fall for any of that sort of nonsense. He's in the Masters League. He obviously knows what up. What up? What is up? Oh, man. So, yeah, here we go. Banshee cruising on in. vVvWaKai already has a bunch of Marines in position. So, in all likelihood, this Banshee will get maybe 1-2 SUVs. And then from that point, it will be kiting Marines for the rest of its duration, or its existence. Trying to do what it can, but, gets another one. Nicely played, but these Marines are ready to go. And, the Banshee actually getting pinned against the edge of the map, and it does go down. So, Crusader, trying the Banshee opener, accomplishing basically nothing. But he didn't commit crazily into that. It's not like he got Cloak and like 3 more Banshees. So, not a terrible opener. And he does have tech earlier, and this will allow him to transition into a more mech-oriented play, it looks like. Get another factory onto a tech lab. Hasn't gotten really any sort of bio. Got an NG bay, but is now getting an armory. Do you need an NG bay to build an armory? I wonder. I feel like you do. I think you do. I don't know. Oh. Whatever. Oh, man. You can tell that I don't play this game enough anymore. I think I've played 10 games in the past 2 months. Maybe, actually, no, 15. I did a whole bunch a week or 2 after moving with one friend. But yeah, I just don't play that much anymore because most of my time spent on Starcraft 2 is spent casting games. Because I enjoy casting a lot, and, you know, I like bringing entertainment to all you fine folks. So, Viking landing in the back, going to do a little bit of harassment. I feel like I would love to see this sort of thing a little bit more. But the Viking might get caught. Run, Viking! Oh, yeah. Okay, that's why people don't do it much. Because the Marines survive, the Vikings are like, don't worry, I'll just fly away. But I have like a 1 second, you know, cast time on my transformation animation. And the Marines arrive and shoot you down, so. It feels really cool. I like the look of it, but it's kind of like a big investment that usually doesn't pay off. What I would like to see more often in, say, TVZ is for Terrans to, oh, that's some cute drop defense. But what I would like to see more in, say, TVZ is Terrans get at least a single Viking and then just send it around the map. And you can use it to pick off outlying overlords quite easily. Because, you know, Zerg will typically position overlords all over the map. They'll usually put it, you know, over high ground and things like that. But a single Viking could probably pick off quite a few overlords before they could get back to the base because, you know, I mean, overlords did get the speed buff, but they're still pretty darn slow. So, yeah. So we got contrasting styles. Of course, vVvWaKai is going full-on bio, but he does have 3 tech labs and making a lot of Marauders. So he's clearly gotten the sense that Crusader is going for mech. And Marauders are pretty decent against tanks because they can take, you know, more than 1 tank shell and, you know, and live, whereas Marines kind of evaporate to concentrated tank fire. I mean, Marauders evaporate to concentrated tank fire too, and I don't know why I'm saying it like Marauders are invincible to tank fire. They're not. But they're just a little bit better, I find, against tanks than Marines. But vVvWaKai gearing up for a nice big drop. Crusader is prepared for this. He does have a number of turrets. And yeah, he's just playing to this mech style in a very logical way. If you're going mech, your force is going to be quite immobile because, well, tanks kind of have to attach themselves to the ground in order to attack effectively. And so, if you're going to be immobile and your opponent's going bio, then you need to worry about the very mobile bio force that's going to try to drop in and kill you, right? Makes sense, so yeah, nice play with putting those turrets around the map. And vVvWaKai gearing up for a third, oh no, with mules that aren't mining. How embarrassing. Hopefully you'll notice that before they expire and are completely wasted, because that's a good 800 minerals that's not happening, man. So vVvWaKai looks like he's pushing forward a little bit, taking quite a few tank shots, and oh, I don't know about this. He does get 2 tanks, but sacrifices a lot of his army to do it. Oh, nice, dropping up on the high ground too, taking out the tank there as well. This is going much better for vVvWaKai than I thought it would. There's a single, two Vikings there, which are working away on the medevacs. And vVvWaKai doesn't have a lot of Marines left. In fact, all he has left at this point is a single Marauder who is tanking all that bunker fire like a total boss. And he is the lone survivor. He will get home and be given the Purple Heart because he got nearly killed about 5 times during that fight. And for now, he's just going to hang on the ground going, yeah, Vikings can't shoot the ground. Unless the Vikings land, they're like, dude, we totally can shoot the ground. And then the Marauder kills all the Vikings because Vikings suck against Marauders. Oh boy. So we got a bunch of upgrades going on for the mech units. Always fantastic to see upgrades. I am, of course, a ginormous advocate of upgrades at all times, as much as possible, because upgrades are really good. I think the only real style of play in which I'd ever advocate not getting upgrades is if you're doing some kind of really, really potent 1 base all-in or a 2 base all-in, and you need like the additional units more than you need an upgrade 2 minutes from now. That's really the only time I'd say not getting upgrades is a good idea. If you're planning for the long term in absolutely any sense, you want upgrades. I know I harp on this so much, but you know, it just really bugs me when I see people not getting upgrades ever. So vVvWaKai Crusader just cruising around with these Vikings. I do have to say, Vikings are pretty cool. You know, like they kind of remind me of Gundams a little bit. Actually, you know what they remind me a lot? They remind me a lot of the mechs in Air Mech. And if you don't know what Air Mech is, just YouTube Husky Air Mech, and you'll see a video where Husky Starcraft talks about Air Mech and shows a bit of it. And it's a pretty cool Dota-style game. It's pretty neat. Dota / kind of more action with like pseudo-base / unit management. It's pretty cool. In any case, vVvWaKai making a supply depot wall to stop the inevitable Zergling run-by because Crusader has clearly figured out how to research grow Zerglings. And then Zerglings just pop out of the command centers, out of these little... They'll have like little test tubes here and they will grow Zerglings on the command center. Oh man, I feel like that's something that should have shown up in the campaign. Because Minx is like... Arcturus Minx, man. If you haven't played the campaign, he's insane. And I seem to recall in the first Starcraft game, he actually had like laboratories, however you say it, in which he was like studying Zerg and he held them captive. Oh, Hellion run-by coming up on the high ground, and they will just be able to shoot down there. vVvWaKai going to lose a bunch of SCVs, and a Planetary Fortress doesn't really help you much if the stuff's out of range. But vVvWaKai with a pretty big force coming down here. Crusader going to need to unsiege absolutely everything and fall back. And just pulling back some of his forces, but this is a planetary as well. vVvWaKai might be able to stem and take this down in a real hurry. And where's the mass repair? There is no mass repair to be seen. He does sacrifice quite a few units, but he takes out the third. And that is, of course, always a fantastic thing to do. This base still being denied mining. But vVvWaKai will, in all likelihood, look to remove those Hellions from the picture soon. But for the moment, just going to sacrifice a few more SCVs for the cause. And there we go. A bunch of Marauders going to arrive. And they don't have concussive shells. Would love to see him research that. And oh no, this could be so brutal. But Crusader doesn't respond in time. So he will take out a few SCVs, but it's not going to be as horribly bad as I thought it would be. Because, he's not controlling that well. vVvWaKai definitely catching a little bit of a break there. Which is fantastic, because I'm rooting for him, because he's a teammate. I don't have any bias at all, guys. No bias whatsoever, but here we go. Crusader sieging up with a whole bunch of tanks. And he's just doing this slow pushing style to the T, man. Building turrets wherever he wants to make a fortification. And that way, if vVvWaKai wants to engage in, he's going to sacrifice a few medevacs to those missile turrets. vVvWaKai flanking around with a few Marauders, but they're not doing too terribly much today. And he's just going to float a base on over here, because why not? And this makes sense. If you're playing Bio as Karen, it's kind of like, it's almost like you're Zerg, in that you always want to be up one base no matter what. But vVvWaKai coming for a big flank from the side. Are there enough tanks to deal with it? There are two back there. But oh, Crusader losing a lot of forces. Doesn't have the Hellions there to buffer damage for his tanks. And vVvWaKai is able to surge forward and destroy absolutely everything. And this is the weakness of the mech style. If you get caught out of position, if you don't have enough tanks, if you don't have enough Hellions to buffer damage for the tanks, you can lose everything. And, well, tanks take forever to build, man. You know, the real cost with tanks isn't their resource cost. It's that they build 45 seconds. That's how long they take to build. And in Starcraft time, that's almost forever. And wow, vVvWaKai just has like no Marines whatsoever because these Vikings are still alive. The Marauders, though, not doing too great against the Hellions, and oh, taking a lot of tank fire. Oh, that is painful to watch. And I feel like vVvWaKai kind of threw away an army there. Probably should have held back and just took more bases, but instead kind of charged forward and donated a whole bunch of his units to his opponent. Crusader is rebuilding his mech army very, very slowly. And vVvWaKai, wow, building 6 Marauders at a time. Holy macro, Batman, that's a lot of barracks. And even more on the way, because why not? If you're on, if you're on what, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bases, you kind of want a lot of barracks. This base isn't going to exist for too much longer, though. vVvWaKai does manage to get most of the SCVs out of there. Oh, is he going to be able to keep it alive through repairing? Looks like it'll be close. Needs to get another SCV on that pronto ASAP. And oh, Crusader is target firing the planetary, so he does lose a few tanks to those Marauders. But the planetary is dead now, so the Marauders will get cleaned up. Oh, man. I feel like I'm just not as energetic as I usually am for my casts today. I didn't get much sleep last night, that's probably why. That and I'm probably a little bit out of practice because I didn't cast for like a week or something because of the con. Oh boy, but Crusader coming in here with a lot of Hellions, taking on a lot of stuff. Marauders sim forward, they pick off all of the tanks. And Hellions not the greatest against Marauders. Well, Marauders aren't very good against Hellions. Hellions do almost 0 damage to Marauders, so this is going to get cleaned up eventually. These Vikings going to cruise on in here, might just land and try to deal damage. Yep, that's what they're going to do. Don't know if they'll do too terribly much as, Vikings are... Did I say the Marauders are going to land? I might have said the Marauders are going to fly into the base and land. No, Marauders do not yet have a jetpack ability. They are not Reapers. They are Vikings. These are Vikings. Wow, yeah, I am out of practice and or tired. Oh, man, I apologize, guys. I feel like this has been slightly subpar casting on my part. I'm going to try to amp myself up here. Maybe I'll have like an energy... Well, I don't have energy drinks, but maybe I'll have a Coke between matches because Coke is the nectar of the gods, man. It's also horrible for you. But this base is quite healthy, which is excellent. Bunch of mules down there. Reestablishing this base. These missile turrets just going to hang out. Can you actually see that? Yeah, you can see that the base is up with the missile turrets. Missile turrets actually have a pretty wide vision range, if you think about it. But, oh, the Hellion's going to get in here, and, well, Planetary Fortress doesn't have the range upgrade. Oh, and it does take out a single Hellion, and is he going to get the other one? Crusader microing as best he can, and the SUVs is going to be like, screw it, kill him. I think they did that without any losses. It's actually kind of impressive. vVvWaKai finally sending some forces around here to take out the missile turrets, so won't have to worry about Medivacs dying to those for no reason. And Crusader on really only one mining base, really struggling to stay on par with the economy to vVvWaKai. But that said, vVvWakai's kind of lost quite a few SCVs. Not a crazy number, but 36 is definitely more than 0. So I would say that is a decent number of SCVs killed. And, wow, vVvWaKai actually significantly ahead in workers, which makes sense, actually, with the number of bases he's on. And, yeah, Crusader, going to be struggling a little bit. He has a really good defensive position here. I really hope vVvWaKai doesn't just charge into that. vVvWaKai, no, this is not what you want to do. Oh, the humanity. So many dead Marauders. And while he's really ahead on supply, like, you don't want to try engaging into this many tanks when they're sieged up and in position and have plenty of Hellions to buffer. It's just a terrible idea. It looks like he might swing around to the front, but the tanks are all sieging up. And that is just a ball of death, man. And you don't want to go anywhere near the ball of death because it'll shoot massive bullets at you until you die from it. And these bullets aren't just bullets, they hit the ground and explode and kill your friends too. They are uber bullets, man. I'm not sure anyone's ever described tank shells as uber bullets, but I just did. That's fantastic. Crusader killing the rocks, not 100% sure why. I feel that would actually benefit vKai a little bit more than it would Crusader, but it's his decision, it's his life. He can make the choices he wants, and I don't have any right to tell him that he shouldn't do that. So, Crusader just pushing forward some tanks. vKai not quite noticing. Gonna take some hits and pulling on back. And vKai streaming forward. Oh no, these units are gonna be in a world ahead. Fortunately, he notices and pulls them out before he loses any. Very excellent. And vKai just kind of hanging out here. And oh, streaming forward, gonna take out all the tanks. They were unsieged for a moment. But oh, there's so many tanks. He's losing so many marauders. Oh my goodness. Oh. That was so awful to watch. vKai, you're hurting me, man. But oh, here we go again. Gonna be able to pick off some tanks for sure. They were all in siege. But now they are siege, but they are starting to evaporate. So vKai doesn't quite get them all. And once again loses, you know, a small village's worth of soldiers. vKai, creator of widows, man. You have no idea. Crusader gonna cruise on up here. Has so many aliens. Hopefully he won't try, you know. Okay, yeah, he's going after the SCVs and oh, come on, just kill the SCVs, man. Why are you focusing a planetary with aliens? That was actually the worst decision I've seen in quite a while. Wow, that was bad. He should have just killed the SCVs and then gotten out of there. He could have killed all those SCVs. I mean, he still killed a lot, but well, whatever. And I feel like what vKai is doing is, like, let's just take a look at this. Take a look at that. You know, vKai's lost quite a bit more than his opponent. He's not trading efficiently, which is sort of the point of Bile, but it's getting to the point where, like, when you charge into, you know, 15 tanks that are all sieged up, that is the very definition of inefficiency. And oh, okay, vKai's doing what I was thinking he should do, which is switch to air. You know, like, yes, Crusader does have some Vikings, but he's only got 4 Vikings. vKai can easily outproduce him in Vikings, and then get a few battlecruisers, some Banshees, and battlecruisers and Banshees can kill infinity tanks, man. But, Crusader, though, managed to deal quite a bit of economic damage to vKai. vKai down to 31 SCVs, losing his SCV. Oh, that's brutal. 59 SCVs have been lost. This base barely mining. Vikings heading on home. And both players have been really trading blows, and both have, you know, made some pretty harsh mistakes. vKai charging up into the tanks over and over. And I can see what he was trying to do. He was trying to catch them while they were unsieged. And yes, that's what you're supposed to do. But he was never catching them unsieged enough. And it was only like half the tanks that were unsieged, and then he was charging and losing so much stuff. But then Crusader, for his part, runs in and tries to focus a planetary with Hellions. And I'm really not too sure what to say about that. I will show you some math here. These Hellions are dealing 10 damage per shot, right? And planetary fortresses have 3 armor. So the Hellions are doing 7 damage per shot versus something with 1,500 hit points. Not gonna work out, guys. vKai getting in here, managing to kill a bunch more stuff, but the SCVs have been pulled, and Marauder is not so good against SCV Hellion tank. I've learned this. And Crusader taking the most ballsy expansion of all time, just going, you know what? Oh, or he's just scouting with your, oh, okay, Marine found it, so he's like, okay, this isn't gonna work anymore. That would have been hilarious if land the orbital here. It's like, this is the safest place because the opponent will never think to check it. You should actually just think about taking this. Well, actually, this one makes more sense because he's mech. If he were bio as well, then taking this one would be okay because he'd have the mobility to defend it. But he is mech. And actually, yeah, this has barely been mined. Even if he were bio, he could take this one. Yeah. Okay, it looks like there's another orbital coming to take this one. This one's just going to hang out. Not sure how I feel about this. This is currently the government union orbital, and he's on coffee break, man. He's like, what? You mean I could be on the ground with SCVs returning minerals to me? Why would I do that, man? I've got an enormous cup of coffee right now. I'm gonna drink it. Okay. Okay. I'll go back to work. Ugh. So demanding. The taxpayers. It's like they want me to do something efficient with their money. Oh. No disrespect intended to government workers, of course, but I think we've all experienced it where we drive past a construction site and about half the guys there are leaning on their shovels and they have like a mocha in the other hand and they're talking and drinking, and then there's like one guy shoveling. And that one guy's just like, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna work so hard that I get promoted before everyone else. But then he forgets that most unions aren't really merit-based, they're more seniority-based. Anyways, we got some death going on here. We're streaming on into the base, killing a whole bunch of production buildings. Gonna be able to kill quite a bit of stuff, but tanks, well, they're good against marauders. And when the marauders spend all their time shooting the Hellions, which they aren't that good at killing, doesn't work out so great. Man, this feels like this almost feels, at least as far as what vVvWaKai is doing, almost. I just want to point out how many barracks there are first. That's a lot of barracks. Anyways, what vVvWaKai is doing is kind of feeling like what you did in beta, and you're like, marauders, wow, they have so much health, and like they have this ability that slows the enemy, and they can stim. Like, why would I ever build Marines? Marauders are so obviously superior, and you would only build Marauders. It feels a little bit like that is what he's doing. And then also getting battlecruisers, because F yeah, battlecruisers. Oh man. vVvWaKai just barely starting to get this base reestablished. He is now up to 43 SCVs, Crusader only on 30. And both players seem to just kind of struggle a little bit with how kind of all over the place this game has been. And also just kind of the unusual compositions. vVvWaKai with just a very, very marauder heavy composition. I see the idea, but like, I don't know, like I keep saying that like Marauders are bad against Hellions, and Hellions are also bad against Marauders. What I mean by that is, Marauders deal very little damage to Hellions, because they only deal 13 damage per shot to a Hellion, right? And they don't shoot that fast. The reason I keep saying Hellions are bad against Marauders, because again, they do not do that much damage to Marauders, but there kind of comes a critical mass where if you have enough Hellions, you actually can kill Marauders efficiently. Because you will deal the AoE damage with the line shot, and you'll be dealing damage to like 5 or 6 Marauders with a single shot, with like 20 Hellions. And at that point, it can start working. So in critical mass numbers, Hellions are good against Marauders. Hopefully that made sense, and I didn't just butcher that explanation. And wow, vVvWaKai was some, well, government worker SCVs, man, let me tell you. So lazy. This one guy, he's like, I'm gonna work hard because I believe in having a strong work ethic. And these guys are like, lol, we're getting paid the same amount and we're just sitting here. Oh man. So both players kind of seeming not to know what to do. Crusader is continuing to build largely tanks. Does he even have any Hellions left? He's got 4 Hellions. He's got double the number of tanks that he does of Hellions. So at this point he just said, screw it. Tanks are good, I'm going to keep building tanks, but oh no, only half of them are siege, and vVvWaKai is going to get in here and kill, well, kind of 100% of everything, except for the air, because Marauders can't shoot up. And the Vikings going to run away. vVvWaKai has his own Vikings, but Crusader has more Vikings, and more Vikings often beats less Vikings. This single tank, being the hero of the day, don't worry, I will hold them back single-handedly until, oh gosh, they shoot me in the face and I explode. And explosions have often been known to be detrimental to the health of a person. And so, well, if you're in a tank and the tank around you explodes, well, let's just say you're not going to be collecting your pension in 20 years. Yeah. Single Hellion here. Just trying to be a jerk and kill stuff. I love how a guy just put the starport here. He's like, well, there's no space left in my base because it is filled with barracks. This is like... I'm trying to think of an analogy. This is North Korea right now, right? Where, like, you know, the edges of the cliffs symbolize the country of North Korea. Notice how approximately 60% of North Korea is military base structures. And if you didn't know, North Korea has something like, 30, maybe 40% of its gross domestic product is dedicated towards military spending. Which is insane. Like, the US is what, like 10% or something? And then you might go, but, you know, why isn't North Korea a total superpower that's totally kicking the US's butts? Because the North Korea has a horrible economy. Which is in part because they dedicate so much of their money to having an enormous army. Like, I don't even know how big it is. It's really big. They have a ginormous army. Yeah. I'm pretty sure South Korea isn't as ridiculous with their spending proportionately, but they still have a pretty big army. They have a mandatory enlistment for all men. I don't know if it applies to women too. I would assume it's just men at this point. Not to be sexist against women or anything, but you know, traditionally men tend to serve in the military just a little bit more. I'm sure I'm gonna get angry comments just being like, women are just as capable in serving in the military as men. And yes, I agree with you. I don't dispute this at all. I'm just saying, that's probably what North Korea does. And that's all I'm gonna say, so I don't get reamed out by any girl that happens to watch this. You know, which, I mean, let's be honest, there's gonna be like one girl watching this. I assume Baby Toss is gonna watch this because she's my team member. Or my teammate, I should say. So her and maybe just like one other. Maybe my wife will watch it. She has watched a few of my casts, even though she isn't really into the Starcraft scene, which makes me just a little bit sad, but you know what? I will survive. I'm holding out hope that over time I will educate her, and eventually a good weekend will be one in which we can watch MLG together. Speaking of, MLG starts tomorrow. Maybe I'll just be like, baby, we're going to watch MLG together, and I'm going to teach you all about Starcraft, because I'm a caster now, and I know how to educate. And hopefully that'll work out. Wakai creating yet more widows who can grieve and collect a, what's it called? Like, I assume that wives whose husbands are killed in combat, they get some sort of payment from the government. I don't know if it's a one-time, like, we're really sorry your husband died, and, you know, here's money to compensate you for not having him earn you money, or if it's a lifetime pension sort of thing. I'm not really sure. Yeah. I have to wonder what life insurance costs for someone who's in the military. I imagine it varies dramatically depending on, well, which branch of the military you're in and where you're stationed. Like, you're stationed in Turkey? Like, don't even worry, you're fine. Stationed in Afghanistan, you're screwed, man. Oh, boy. I'm pretty sure there are U.S. military bases in Turkey. I think they have some air bases there. Anyways, Wakai wondering at how this game is still going at the 46-minute mark. As you can tell, this game really has been going on for quite a while because I'm barely even talking about it anymore. Because it's kind of gone to that stalemate point, and I'm not even really sure how to analyze the metagame of this game anymore. Oh boy, Wakai. Oh, Wakai, GG's. And Crusader, GG's. I don't know if Wakai really needs to, like... I don't know. He just taken this base. I feel like that was kind of a frustration, GG, to be honest, more than anything else. He had a new base here. How many SCVs? It's 41 SCVs. It's not like he's down. Okay, Wakai. Time for me to be the educator. And yes, I know you're Masters, and I know I'm Diamond, although probably skill levels at Platinum. I know that. But I'm a caster, okay? I watch a lot of games. My game knowledge is a billion times better than my actual gameplay skill. With him doing this heavy mech composition, yes, he did have some Vikings. You should have just produced a lot of Vikings and some battle cruisers, and I think you would have broken this a lot more efficiently than just continuing to build Marauders and kind of suicide them in. Like, in all honesty, take these barracks, lift them all up, and just put starports there. Well, except for the... Well, yeah, take the reactor too and make Vikings out of it. I don't think you should have GG'd at this point. I think you should have gotten mining here. And then you're playing bio. You have the mobility. Start doing drops. You know, like move in here, kill this base. Move in here, kill this. This base isn't even mining anymore, right? You know, do a drop. Avoid his unit coming here. Kill this base. You can't just keep, you know, mashing your face into his army and expect to win. You know, I mean, look at this, you know. So, that is my sagely advice to you on this fine day. But in any case, thank you for the very entertaining game. Thank you to you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Once again, please do check out my YouTube channel at youtube.com/Squallcasting, as spelled in the lovely little logo that I created over here. And yes, I did make that myself. I have a little bit of Photoshop experience. I feel a little bit proud of that. I didn't make the graphics down here, though. I mean, one's Steel Series and one's vVv Gaming, so... Anyway, yeah, so please do check back again. I will have more vVvV games in the very near future. Thanks. See you in the next one.